Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Let's shake it up a little.
Thank you for tuning in to 100 Proof with yours truly, Jay Wesley. And we are going to get right into this conversation because we only have 1 hour tonight. And I'm going to start with introducing my guest. I have a guest on the phone line, but we're going to start right here in the studio. And I'm going to go to my peer, Miss Cherry G. She has her own show, Destiny Talk Live. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your show real quickly.
Okay, my name is Cherry G. I have a show here on the radio station, Destiny Talk Live, and we are going to be in Orlando, Florida, covering the Black Enterprise Women in Power Summit from May 7th through the 10th at Walt Disney World, so we're super excited about that.
All right, cool. Congratulations. Mr. Brendan, Mr. Bartender. I'm sorry, Brendan, Rodney. Brendan's my new producer. I apologize about that.
Oh, so tell you about myself. My name is Rodney King, Complete Coincidence. I'm a comedy writer here in Atlanta, and I'm a former bartender. I still do events from here and there, but
once a bartender, always a bartender.
Yes.
All right, we're looking forward to picking your brain. Let me move to the phone line. Mr. Willie Mack, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, very well.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been bartending since 2012. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. I started in New Jersey, North New Jersey, scary little bars, and moved my way up all the way up to the World Trade Center. But currently I'm at the Barclays Center at the Billboard Lounge. Very happy to be there. I've been here about 5 years, and I'm happy to be on the show.
All right, and to my right here in the studio, we have Mr. Benjamin. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Jay. How are you doing?
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Benjamin Whitfield. I've been in the service industry for about 20 years now, and find myself working in operations for Daddy O'Brien's Irish Ice Cream Pub and Sandwich Shop. Say that twice fast. Daddy O'Brien's Irish Ice Cream Pub and Sandwich Shop. We serve an alcohol-infused ice cream. I'm like to think I'm a little biased, probably, but I'd like to think it's the best ice cream on planet Earth as well, infused with all types of spirits. We also have some premium flavors as well. Been working with them for about 3 years. Met you the other day. I'm happy to be on the show, man.
Yes. And I had the caramel, alcohol-infused.
You had the Kentucky Salted Caramel, the award-winning Kentucky Salted Caramel.
It was good. We're going to be tasting it at the end of the show, so be sure to stay tuned to learn more about alcohol-infused ice cream. But meanwhile, let's jump right into it. I'm going to start with you, Willie. Let's start with, and this is going to be a lightning round, and it's a simple question. First question is, Willie, have you ever heard of Blacks Tip the Least?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's I haven't just heard of it. I've seen it, and let me just say, I am pro-Black, Black Panther, everything like that. I just, it's to me, it's science. I've seen it, and it is what it is. But always remember, there's two types of Black people. That's why I wanted to say there's good Black folk, and then there's others. And I can't say it because we're on the air, but there's, we have good Black professional folk that love what you do. They're here, they have money, and they'll take care of you. And there's also the other ones that are trying to, see where they can manipulate you into giving them more alcohol without tipping. Oh, I got a big tip for you. And then I'll have to say, okay, you give me the tip first, then I'll give you more, things like that. You have to play the game with them. And so there's two different types, but yeah, I've heard that. And I've seen it too.
So, Cherry, with a brief response, because this is a lightning round. Have you ever heard of black people are difficult or black people tip the least?
Yeah, I have, and I actually agree with the gentleman on the phone. It's two types. I mean, we can't lump us all in one, so it's two. It's two types of people. So
All
yes.
right. So, Brendan.
Rodney.
Why do I keep...
I
apologize.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine.
You look like a Brandon. No, I'm
That's
sorry.
it.
Brandon's behind you. You all may be able to see Brandon on television there. Brandon's the producer behind him. Rodney, how long have you been a bartender?
Like 4 years.
Have you ever heard the myth that blacks tip the least or are the most difficult customers?
Yeah, and there is some truth to it. I think black people could just be real particular when they go out, and it's just a matter of you deciding if you want to do that or not, or you just want to be like, all right, go on somewhere. And I think black people tend to tip according to how they're treated a lot of times.
All right, excellent. And Mr. Ice Cream Man, Mr. Benjamin. We're not asking we're not asking your opinion. We're just asking, have you heard this myth before?
I have.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Earlier in my career, that's something that used to frustrate me. I used to see it happen often. As I matured and I went to a Zen space and stopped thinking just about the amount of money that I'm making and the service I'm giving, I think they were displaced. I think they were displaced by maybe Europeans or something like that, where they don't necessarily tip over there. Since I've been in Atlanta, I haven't had a lot of problem with it, to be honest. So I don't know what y'all experience.
All right, cool.
Y'all over there. Nah, I'm just playing.
So
ice cream.
Part of that reason for that first round of questioning was to prove, is this conversation viable or not? Because many people have stated that this is a non-factor and I should not be discussing this conversation. I have received so much hate mail for having this conversation. Wow. So we're going to do another lightning round, and we're going to take it to the exact topic, and we're going to start with you, Cherry.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the myth that black women are difficult to service and or tip the least? We're talking black women specifically.
Yeah, I've heard that, and there's some truth to it. But again, it depends upon that individual, because we can't lump us all together, because I'm not difficult and I tip well. So it's just really where that person is in their place.
Hey, what am I here for? I mean, have I heard it? Yes.
Black women.
Yes, I've heard that, and I've experienced it as well. I have.
All right, and so would you like to share that experience?
Well, I feel like I cracked the black woman code. Like I cracked that mystery. Sometimes you have to be a little forceful and kind of get with them, or really get your running shoes on and serve them. Over the years, like I said, since I've been in Atlanta, every now and again you get stiffed here, but it doesn't amass the number of. Since we're an international city, I seem to get stiffed by other cultures more, but they used to be a little thorn in my side back in the day.
All right, there it is. So we have cracked the code that this conversation is legitimate. Stay tuned, 100 Proof. We'll be right back.
Text us with your shout-outs and requests to 678-613-587. Radio Smack Them Down.
The Women of Power Summit, brought to you by Black Enterprise, highlighting the best in black excellence for over 4 decades. This year's summit will be held in Florida, and we're inviting all of our listeners to come and enjoy the magic. March 7th through the 10th, 4 days in sunny Orlando with over 1,000 energized and influential women, intentional in growth and substance over competition. Undivided is how we'll stand with the Women of Power. It's the summit you can't afford to miss, from the Macy's shopping party to the ultimate girls' night turn-up or the 13th annual Legacy Awards with previous recipients like Alfred Woodard and Henry Greer. Vanessa Williams, Felicia Rashad, Ruby D to this year's Donna Brazil, Jim Kennedy Overton, Carmen D. Lavalade, and Ian Cooper. It's power on your own terms. Cherry G from Sensation Station's Destiny Talk will be your guide for your ultimate summit experience. Stop right now. Go to ssnatl.com to start your powerful journey. Click the links for more info or go to blackenterprise.com/WPS.
Women are power.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
All right, thank you for staying tuned to 100 Proof with yours truly, Jay Wesley. We are going to go to the phone lines with our New Jersey bartender, with Willie. Willie, first question is, have and or tip the least?
I have never heard that myth. I've never heard anybody say that, honestly. So no, not just simple no. I haven't heard that one, like black women specifically. No.
Okay. And we're going to come back and follow up with that to ask you, what has your experience been with black women specifically? But meanwhile, we're going to go to Rodney.
Here we go.
What's your thoughts on this, Rodney?
Recently changed my name to Brendan.
Good look, Brendan.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I've heard the myth. Being in the South, that's just a thing that people talk about, particularly white people. I don't know if I could say that on air, but yes, I've mostly heard it from white people. And yes, it's happened, but we're not on my thoughts about that yet. So.
And so let's go into that. So why do you feel that what's your knowledge of why they're feeling that black women are difficult?
To be honest, I think white people are afraid of black women.
Okay.
We're just being honest. And I think a lot of times they would like to shame black women for having standards. Exactly. So when they want things to be a certain way, they want to look at them crazy, and it's just, no, just do the thing right, and nobody's having a problem.
And I appreciate you saying that, because like we said earlier, it just depends on who the individual is. Black women have to walk around with that stereotype that we're angry about everything, and that is so untrue. So if I want my steak right and I tell you to fix it, then I'm angry. But if Sue tells you to fix it, you're all right with it. You're doing a cartwheel into the back.
All right, Willie, what's been your experience with dealing with black women in the service industry?
In my lounge, we have many different, we have basketball, hockey games, events, concerts. It really depends on what the event is. And so, for instance, we have a season ticket holder. I have one, Miss Tiffany, we call her. She is one of the governor of New York. She's on his administration board or something. She tips me extraordinarily. And, she's a regular there. But we have other women that do the opposite, and they're difficult. But like I think Sherry said, black women do have that stigma of everything they say is aggressive. So, so if they just want their steak, they just want their steak, and you find that typical that a white woman would do that. You're like, oh, she just sent the steak back. The black woman do it is like, oh, it's just a problem. So they have that stigma on them. So the spotlight is on them. So everything they do gets amplified.
So is that a reason, Willie, when we'll have you answer this question, that if you didn't cook my steak right, that it should be comped because it didn't come out the way that I asked?
No, not the first time. If you didn't cook a steak right, please correct it. You always give them at least one time to correct the mistake. If it's a problem and they can't correct it, then you're messing up my dining experience, and I need you fix it. Comp the steak, discount the meal or something.
So, Brendan, in your experience in the service, I'm sorry.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. I'll just go back and forth.
I'll just go back and forth. Rodney.
Change your birth certificate.
I truly apologize.
It's my alter ego.
Why, or I forgot my question now. So, do you feel, or have you seen where blacks may ask for food to be, or drinks to be comped over other races because of some complaint, one or another?
Yes, and I feel a lot of times black people go off of your response to the issue happening altogether. So if I tell you, okay, my steak is wrong, but if you have like a nasty attitude about it, then yes, I do feel like you're ruining my experience at this point versus like, okay, I see that this is wrong, doing everything that I can, you know, you see me coming back and forth. And I think then black people tend to have more of a leniency about it, but if you just like, you know, then like, yeah, I want my food for free, you know, so.
Cherry, as a black woman, hearing these responses, how does that make you feel?
You know, for me, it's like I kind of understand it, having been on both sides of the industry, but we're going to have that problem no matter what we do, you know, because they always think we want stuff free. Now, I've been in places that my dining experience has been ruined, but I don't want anything for free. I'm not asking for any money back, but they will give us a hard time giving money back before the others. The others, they will automatically offer it. We have to say we want it to get it.
Benjamin, what's your thoughts hearing all of this?
Well, I kind of disagree. I kind of agree with what everybody's saying, but there's the thing that I've experienced personally is not necessarily wanting something for free. It's wanting everything in the restaurant now, like extra lemons, tartar sauce, more water, plastic silverware instead of metal silverware. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that you're looking for something for free. There was just a level of being high maintenance. And, you know, one thing I could say about black women, though, is as they have become educated, become wealthy, to some degree traveled the world, they've eaten at more so than men. So I really don't agree with them being more difficult than men. They're out. I mean, they're out. They have more expendable income to be out. And men typically just come and they're simple. Women, they want it all today. You know what I'm saying? And if you meet that challenge, and sometimes if you joke about it, man, I've seen that attitude diminish and high tips come just by you getting with their level. Instead of shaming them for it, just sweat for it a little bit. They'll pay you for it.
You have to look at it too, that sometimes that we're already on the defense, okay, when we come in, and it's all about how that server approaches you. If you could tell by the body language or whatever, they're going to have a little attitude. Yes, we're going to be on the aggressive a little bit because now we know, okay, you treat me some kind of way. So we're on that defense.
So Willie, do you feel that black consumers and patrons receive the same level of enthusiasm at hello when they walk in a restaurant?
Absolutely not, unless they're maybe well dressed in a suit or the opposite of a suit, a Gucci suit. No, they do not. No, they definitely, and I've done it myself. And you know, sorry to say, you know, being a black person, you know, sometimes I see like black people come in, but not black people, like Myrma said, good black folk and others. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that because I already know, especially in my demographic. Remember, I'm in New York. You have many different demographics. So when I see a certain demographic come in, I don't even want to deal with that. And I feel bad that I feel that way. But I already know. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right. And, you know, there's 2 philosophies to it. You can treat everybody the same. You know, you're going to get assholes and good people. Or you can try to... okay, sorry. Or you can try to differentiate from hello who is going to be a good person. And you may be right 80% of the time, but that 80% of the time may save you 50% of headaches.
All right, there it is. Stay tuned to 100 Proof. We're coming right back after this break. Be sure to go to Facebook on the Sensation Station Network page and tell us what you think.
You use Tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American
Station Network.
See ya.
We are in the midst of our Causing a Stir segment. This is where each and every one of you can write in your comments. And I have my peer in the room, Sherry Griffin, is going to help me respond to some of those questions of yours. But before we do, we have Rodney.
Yeah.
That's had a comment that he wanted to share.
Okay, cool. Who's the guy on the phone? Since we're all
Willie.
forgetting everybody's names.
Willie Mack.
Yeah, I think with, the comment about, there being good people and black people, and the thing that I've learned with dealing with black people is that black people are aware that there's the stigma that they don't tip. And I think a lot of times they try you on that. So if you treat them a certain way, they will come off as, they will tip you accordingly. And so I've just learned that just like everybody deserves to be treated properly no matter what. If they come into your restaurant, they deserve to be treated properly.
So on that point, is it ever okay to not tip? You wasn't treated properly. You don't think you received the best service. Do I walk out and tip 0?
I don't think that's okay either, and that's on that person's conscience, so I mean, you can't do anything about that. But I think on our side, being on the hospitality side, we have to give them our best no matter what.
Willie, give me your quick response on that as far as, is it okay to tip if you feel like you did not receive good service?
Not no tip. If you want to give a 10% tip, 8% tip, stuff like that, do that, but not to the point where you just leave 0. That just means, forget you on everything. And I don't think that's right.
Do you feel, Willie, that blacks and or black women are more likely to leave a 0 tip for their feeling of not having adequate service than other races?
On average, I would say, if you would have, I've looked on, before I got to the show, I did a little research just to make sure what I had in my mind had some scientific backing. And I saw some things that, they have a graph, and I wish I could show it to you, where the scale of different demographics and who tip what. But black people, on average, tip less. But do I feel that, what was the specific question you said?
I mean, you just answered it right there, that on average, black people tip less. But we're going to go to our listeners that have their questions. Cherry G, what do we have?
Okay, we have Audrey Champer that says, I agree with Cherry. It depends on the person. It also has a lot to do with the attitude of the individual who is being served and the person who is serving. There are good experiences and bad experiences on both sides. And then Brenna B says, it's a look or a certain attitude the server will have upon arrival at the table, as I was saying. Even the smallest request, like extra lemon for water or salad dressing on that, is treated like the utter annoyance. They're annoyed that you're asking for that kind of stuff. And she said, upon getting the check, when it's time to close the check, it is often a surprise when the tip is not the full 20%. So I agree with Bruno on that. And then Crystal Brown said it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. People assume they won't get tips, which leads to getting poor service, which leads to bad tips.
I agree with her.
And it seems like there's a lot of supposition on both sides. You spoke to it earlier, black women coming, or black people coming in and assuming, and then even like Will, what's his name, Will?
Yes.
You know, he mentioned even, and we're all guilty of it, and you know, being black or whatever, you see black folks be like, not in my section. You know what I'm saying? Like, no! You know, so you feel it, you're putting that off, they're putting something off, and that clash happens if you don't manage your energy and walk into that and give them the best service you can. You can doom yourself because they're sniffing you out, you're sniffing them out, and it just makes for an awkward dining experience.
Yeah, because black people are all about vibes, and if they just not getting that from you, all right, cool.
Now, you have a listener that says, I'm not giving the best service, I don't leave anything. If she's not giving the best service, she doesn't leave anything. It doesn't matter the color of the server, and I say that unapologetically.
You need to apologize. I'm sorry, listener.
Well, you know, I can kind of understand.
You said the best service, though. You know, that person now is having, you know, you've been in the industry, they're having to tip out the bar, tip out the busboy, and they end up paying to serve you because they didn't give the perceived
And
best
sometimes
service.
it's not the server's fault, but stay tuned, 100 Proof. We'll be right back.
The Women of Power Summit, brought to you by Black Enterprise, highlighting the best in black excellence for over 4 decades. This year's summit will be held in Florida, and we're inviting all of our listeners to come and enjoy the magic. March 7th through the 10th, 4 days in sunny Orlando with over 1,000 energized and influential women, intentional in growth and substance over competition. Undivided is how we'll stand with the Women of Power. It's the summit you can't afford to miss, from the Macy's shopping party to the ultimate girls' night turn-up or the 13th annual Legacy Awards with previous recipients like Alfred Woodard, Andy Greer, Vanessa Williams, Felicia Rashad, Ruby D to this year's Donna Brazil, Jen Kennedy Overton, Carmen D. Lavalade, and Edith Cooper. It's power on your own terms. Jerry G from Sensation Station's Destiny Talk will be your guide for your ultimate summit experience. Stop right now. Go to ssnatl.com to start your powerful journey. Click the links for more info or go to blackenterprise.com/WPS.
Women are power. No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp. I can probably hit the green from here. Probably. Can I get a mulligan? Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sensation Station Network. Radio 2, Atlanta.
Thank you all for staying tuned to 100 Proof with yours truly, Jay Wesley. We are having an interesting, sensitive topic about cocktails and stereotypes. Are black women difficult to please, and are they likely to tip the least? One thing I want to add to this conversation is that it's usually in my experience, among black servers who have these beliefs and thoughts that of everything that we're discussing. I have never once heard a white person say, I don't want to serve that black person.
Oh, I can give you
that's because
I mean, that's my experience. I mean, I'm glad that you're proving me wrong, but I have only heard from black people that want to shade certain people of black culture. So, Cherry, you seem like you had something to say there.
I'll give you a prime example. So, my family, we were celebrating my father's birthday, my grandmother's, excuse me. So, we had a large party. We had already said we were going in there, and, we had made reservations, so we had 2 white servers. Got the worst service ever.
Mm-hmm.
Worst service ever. We had to wait. They were like, blowing their breath when they did stuff. So, my dad, the guy asked my father, no tip. He said, yeah, I got a tip for you. I can't say what he gave the tip was, but it wasn't money. And we talked to the manager afterwards, and he was like, I was like, we had everybody here. We still paid for our meal. And that was like over $200. But we were going to tip him, but why should we have to if you were nasty to us from the time we walked in and sat down and we asked for a different server and they wouldn't give us one?
Willie, what's your thoughts? Would you say in your experience that it's blacks that feel the same way about these stereotypes that we're speaking about, or would you say that it's majority white?
Like, that's a hard one. I know we know each other better than anybody else knows us, and our culture and our thoughts and how we, are. And, a lot of it is our own, like I said, with myself, I feel bad that I feel the ways that I feel. But from my experiences, I have legitimacy in the reason I feel that way. And so it is, yes, I guess so, yes.
Brandon, you're in the service industry. Would you say that it's more blacks that have these stereotypes against blacks, or do you think that's other races as well?
Well, like most things white people do, they're very subtle about it. So they communicate it in other ways. So say if they get a table of black people, they may ask a black person, hey, do you want to pick up my table? Things like that. So you just have to know how to read in between what it is that they're actually saying.
So you have a listener that says, Ted Barrett says, with respect, give respect. I shouldn't have to ask you 3 times for something that in the protocol you hear for purpose, and I will do everything I can for you to reach full quota because you are dealing with my grocery.
All right. Well, we are going to go to break, but we still have coming up hot spots and international sips. Stay tuned so you can learn all about alcohol-infused alcohol.
I got a lot of dollars. Hey girl, let's go have some drink.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
We are in the midst of our What's on Fire segment, and this is where we typically tell you what's crack-a-lacking in the beverage industry. But since tonight's topic is so interesting, we are going to give you some tips of information of what you should and should not do. So we're going to go around the table. But one thing I want to add to this conversation real quickly is I can say I have been with women on both sides, meaning they were with me at a table and have told me not to tip, or have told me to tip less because they didn't feel that our service was good. On the service side, I have seen women stop their husband or change the tip because their husband was going to leave more. So my thing is, for service people, just treat everyone fairly, do your best, and don't worry about the tip. But I'm going to go to you, Willie. What's some final information you want to leave the guest with?
Like I said at the beginning, I love my black people. I'm so pro-black and black love and this and everything. But we have stigmas and stereotypes, and I always believe that stereotypes come from a little bit of truth. This was a very sensitive topic, and we could have taken this so deep to social, economic history. We could have went to slavery and how many CEOs are black people versus their CEOs that are not, which is like 3%, I think, or 5%. We could have went so deep with this. So there are stereotypes, and there also are some things that are just reasons for. And but I said I have some great guests that are African American, black, that I love, and they take care of me every time they come. It's season ticket holders to my my events, and but there's also the others, and so we got to do better as a whole, because we already got a lot to fight through. So
all right. Sherry G, you want to give me a quick thought on this before we close out and go to break?
Don't judge a book by its cover. Treat it as like it's the first time picking it up and reading it.
Absolutely. Stop qualifying people at hello. Stay tuned. 100 Proof with Jay Wesley.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on the vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win the Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
This is big business. This is the American West.
Station Network.
See ya.
Thank you for staying tuned to 100 Proof. This is Jay Wesley. We are in our Hotspot segment, and this is where we normally tell you what's popping around the city with some great events. But once again, we have stretched out our conversation so that we can get more information in. So, Brandon, oh my God, Rodney. I apologize. Rodney,
look at the screen with the name on it.
Please tell me
right there.
Your final thoughts on this conversation.
At the end of the day, we're all human beings. Being a server, being a guest, it doesn't make you any different of a person. So just treat everybody with respect, and things will just be a lot better.
All right. And Benjamin, what's some final tips or thoughts you have on this conversation?
I just like to second what Brandon said. I'm so...
Yes.
I really think when you coming from a service perspective, your job is to serve. Mm-hmm. Like Cherry said, never judge a book by its cover. Serve well. Meet that adversity, your stereotype. Meet it head on and serve the heaven out of them and see what happens. Right. And for those who, as Willie was saying earlier, there's some that tip well, there's some that tip bad. If you're a bad tipper, learn to dine with a little bit more grace. You know what I'm saying? Just be a little more mindful for the person that is serving you, because you're the one being served. Have a little more grace for them and watch their disposition change. So we bear a burden on both ends. So.
Right.
All right, so there it is, the final tips of the night. Be sure to stay tuned. We have international sips with alcohol-infused ice cream.
Boom.
Stay tuned.
Don't lick and drive.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Hey, what's happening, man? It's the King speaking.
This is Jeremiah.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Gotta be.
Station Network.
The Women of Power Summit, brought to you by Black Enterprise, highlighting the best in Black excellence for over 4 decades. This year's summit will be held in Florida, and we're inviting all of our listeners to come and enjoy the magic. March 7th through the 10th, 4 days in sunny Orlando with over 1,000 energized and influential women, intentional in growth and substance over competition. Undivided is how we'll stand with the Women of Power. It's the summit you can't afford to miss, from the Macy's shopping party to the ultimate girls' night turn-up or the 13th annual Legacy Awards, with previous recipients like Alfred Woodard and Henry Greer. Vanessa Williams, Felicia Rashad, Ruby D to this year's Donna Brazil, Jen Kennedy Overton, Carmen D. Lavalade, and Edith Cooper. It's power on your own terms. Jerry G from Sensation Station's Destiny Talk will be your guide for your ultimate summit experience. Stop right now. Go to ssnatl.com to start your powerful journey. Click the links for more info or go to blackenterprise.com/WPS.
Women are power.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Thank you for staying tuned to 100 Proof with yours truly, Jay Wesley. We are in the midst of our open forum session, so if you still have questions for us, go to Facebook, Sensation Station Network page, and write your comments there. We have our producers, Lorenzo and Brandon, watching for your comments. But, Willie, you made a great statement earlier, and it was actually one of my questions, which was socioeconomic status. How does that play a role into blacks or black women? Because I can bring black women into this with tipping as well. What's your thoughts on that?
Just speaking about black women, let me just say that they are winning right now. They are the demographic that graduates the most. So that's my little disclaimer. On the back end, we know our history as black people, and to me, we are just starting to amass wealth. We are just having businesses and owning things. We're just starting to. So we don't have as much money as somebody else. That grandfather owned the bakery, and now he passed it down to his father, and he passed it down to his son. And he's always had great credit, and he's always been happy. He's just a happy guy. He comes to the bar, and he's sipping 28, 35% because, so that's the difference between us who just became the first person to graduate, the first person is, then the other person that's the fourth business owner that, so that plays a part in what the person tips.
And if I could add to that too, man, that's one thing. I think that's a great point. And one of the things I was going to say is old money versus new money, just in general.
Right.
When you come into new money, you're emulating what you think it's like to be a boss or to have your needs met or whatever. Whereas old money, this is what I find even with white folks. Somebody that's been in money for a long time, you can get their order wrong. You could take your time. You could forget something. They have such a grace and air about them. Like, don't worry. I've dined at these tables all of my life, so there's a certain, just a experience that they have that, the black woman who is like you were just saying has risen to power so quickly, they're new to it. And some people, and they're getting 5-star service some places, and they're going to expect that everywhere they go. So I think that's a great point.
Well, again, we have to be careful when we say that is that because we're into money now, that we're into it now, we don't understand what it is to be treated right.
Right.
It don't matter if you got money or not. We could go in there and be Oprah Winfrey, and we're still going to get some type of par service. Like she explained when she went to Europe trying to buy a handbag. They didn't want to sell her the handbag. They told her she couldn't afford it. We're talking about Oprah Winfrey. So, it really just depends on how we carry ourselves. If you come in with the attitude or the S on your chest, they're going to pick that up. So sometimes we as women, we have to calm down a little bit.
So, Cherry, let me flip that to the other side. Do you think that black women come in with a coldness on their face that it makes it hard for a server to break through?
Right. Well, we can. Yes, we can, but it's hard for them to read it. If they're not used to it, they're not going to be able to read it. And that's why I said to our women, we have to sometimes take that S off of our chest. We have to be humble down. Okay, so you made it. People who really have money, you don't know they have money.
So here's another question for you, Cherry. Have you ever seen or experienced where women consumers are harder on black women in the service arena? Now, I'm sure my experience, real quickly before you answer that, I have seen my female family members be extra hard on a female, and don't let her be beautiful.
Oh, yeah, you forget it.
They're extra hard on her, and even more likely to tip her as least as they can. And I've watched as a male that this woman has done everything, and they will find the smallest reason to not tip her or tip her the least. What's your thoughts? Have you seen that before?
Absolutely. It's been done to me when I was in the service industry. You know,
why do women do that to one another?
Because it's just, again, the way we were raised, our culture. Okay, you know, we were pitted against each other from when we were brought over here in chains. Okay, so light skin, dark skin, we're going to have those issues. Small, big, we're going to have those issues. So it's so deep rooted that we haven't taken time to address the actual problem. We're just falling in suit.
Willie, have you seen or witnessed what I just spoke about as far as women being hard on women, black women being hard on black women?
Just
in
from
service?
Girl, you know, you date who you work with, you know, a lot of times. And the woman I've dated sometimes have been in the service industry, like I guess all of us. And to hear the things that they would tell me as my girlfriend, like, women, if they're pretty, another woman will just not tip her just because she's pretty and all type of stuff. And they were like, I don't like going to, like, I don't like going to, if there's two counters at a place, they'd rather go to the man counter because that woman's going to give me an attitude about getting my driver's license renewed. So I'd rather go to the guy over there rather than this woman because she's going to hate on my outfit. So women do that sometimes.
They do.
Interesting. So ladies, lighten up. Support your sisters in the service industry. But right now it's time for our International Sip segment, which happens to be my favorite segment of the show. And we have Benjamin here that brought us alcohol-infused ice cream. So what am I having right here?
You're having the Drunken Oreo. Be careful with that now. Yeah, it tends to have a low melting point or high melting point. But that's the Drunken Oreo. It's Oreos with whipped cream vodka. It's one of my favorites. You know, we're out at, you like it. Yeah.
It's delicious,
get that on camera.
It's delicious.
Yeah, that's... And
the producer back there is... which one
man.
did you have, Miss Producer? Same one?
I wouldn't lie to you. I would never steer you wrong, man. And we got over 100 flavors at in Sugar Hill at Daddy O'Brien's, and... there's probably 5 to 10 flavors I like better than that.
So for consumers to get it, do they have to travel out there to get it?
They can travel out there. We can meet them somewhere. They can order it and we could ship it to them. But I would definitely recommend making that drive to the sweet city of Sugar Hill.
I have a question about that.
I got my hand up
Hold
over
on.
here.
We got a couple questions.
First of all, you wrong for this four horseman ice cream.
Yeah.
Right here, you wrong.
Is that
Apocalypse is coming.
I
can't even talk. You know, this thing right here.
Yeah, that's all right there.
Yeah.
And that's a new one that I tried recently, and I slept on it a little bit, but that's delicious. But honestly,
I don't even drink, but this right here.
Yeah, that's nice.
Willie, you have a question. What's your question, Willie?
I'm sure other people are thinking this now. Is it just for taste, or will it get you drunk?
It will definitely get you drunk. It has, they average around a 3% alcohol content. So, you can have a Blarney is our scoop that's like the regular, if you will. It's 3 scoops. Depending on your tolerance, you might buzz off of that. If you have the pint, the Daddy-O's pint, you're going to feel it in your mouth. Yeah, you're going to feel it. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay. Rodney, which one are you experiencing?
I have no idea. This has caramel in it.
Kentucky salted caramel.
Yes, that's it. And then this says rum raisin, but I don't think that's what this is.
No, it's rum raisin.
It is?
This thing right here. Can I raise my hand again?
Is that raisins? Yeah.
So which one did you experience, Cherry?
Apocalypse. No, I'm sorry.
The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
And rum raisin. I'm telling you, this Look, man, y'all wrong for this. I just
That
want you to
rum
know.
raisin, literally, I had
that
to
was really
call Daddy-O himself to be like, this rum raisin it's the best thing I've ever had.
So how long have you all been in business?
We've been in business as a cart service, doing food truck events, municipalities, things of that nature for about 3 years, and an actual brick and mortar location for a year. And we're franchising now as well.
And what was the inspiration with the alcohol infusion part of it?
Our Irish roots.
Okay.
You know they like to drink in Ireland, and Daddy O'Brien is 100% Irish. They were already in another little business before and wanted to get into something different and new. Found a course, took the course, and started. I mean, literally, he's making it 3 years, and he's won over 10 national awards, Flavor of the Year nationally. I mean, it's some of the best stuff I've ever had in my life, point blank.
And where do they go to get it shipped?
You could just find us on Facebook, Daddy O'Brien's Irish Ice Cream Shop. Give us a call.
What's the phone number?
Us. The phone number, y'all got Google nowadays.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Google
No,
it.
He's like, man, you got me doing too much.
678-765-9633. Feel free to go to daddyosicecream.com. That's DADDYOS icecream.com. Facebook, you can just look up Daddy-O's Irish Ice Cream Pub, or on Instagram, it's Daddy's _ice_cream. You can
All
find
right,
it.
and people can franchise this, I understand.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the franchise opportunities that exist.
We actually, we started a little bit at the end of last year, but we were getting requests for literally doing cart service. I remember in Swanee, we had people walking up, working on franchise. So at a trade show, we were introduced to a franchising company here locally. So if you want any information on the brand, it's a relatively low cost to entry. So it's not too expensive to buy a franchise. It's something that's really taking off as well. We've already, in 1 year of business in the brick and mortar store, I've had 2 copycat companies try to do what we do. One close in Duluth. I'm not even going to tell the location, but close enough. They're trying to do what we're doing now, just in 1 year. So, if you're interested in, getting into a business that's relatively manageable, turnkey, and is about to, we even have opportunities in India happening as well.
How much capital are we talking about, around about?
$30,000 for the franchise
That's
fee,
wow.
and then you would have to pay for the build out of your thing. So it's pretty cheap for a franchise, especially something as turnkey and as little moving parts as an ice cream shop.
Now, where are you at again?
In Sugar Hill, it's in Gwinnett County,
Right.
right by Swanee and Buford.
Yeah, I'm in Grayson. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you're not far away. You're not far at all.
no.
Yep. And if you get a franchise, you can put it in Grayson. Think about it.
All right, so thank you, Benjamin, for coming out and sharing this with us. We have definitely enjoyed it. Tonight, we are going to go around the table and share our social media handles where people can find us. And let's start with you, Willie.
Oh, yes. I am the same everywhere. Sensei Mac. SENSEI MACK. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. And, just hit me up anytime.
Willie, can you give me a quick 15 seconds of last thoughts about tonight's conversation?
Last thoughts. I love my black people. We come from a lot, and we're going through a lot. And just take care. Just take care of the next person as you want them to take care of you in the industry, on the street, everywhere.
Amen.
All right, Mr. Rodney.
Yes.
Who's that?
On everything, it's the R King Show on Twitter, Instagram, on Snapchat, the R King Show 1. Long story. Wrap up about everything. Yeah, piggybacking off of what Willie was saying. Just take care of everybody, especially black people. Black people, take care of you black people. Wakanda forever, all that stuff.
All right, Cherry.
You can see and view me here on the Sensation Station every Thursday at 1 p.m. Destiny Talk Live. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Destiny Talk Live. And awesome show. I didn't have to break out the Vaseline, and it was very clean, so I really like the conversation.
Thank you. And you can follow us at Cocktail Chron, #1. Chron is short for Chronicles, CHRON. Cocktail Chron, the #1. And remember, our goal is to empower each and every one of you to be a better guest when you walk in someone's establishment, to prevent embarrassment. So this was in no way, form, or fashion to degrade black women. As you heard from 5 guests tonight, it's a legitimate conversation. So hopefully we have dispelled some myths. We have taught you better habits. When you go out and dine, stay tuned every Tuesday at 10 p.m. right here on the Sensation Station Network.
Get ready. Playing the best R&B